like, and a lot of these questions need to be in the mind of someone who's fresh out of college. Are you ready to be ethical? Are you ready to follow certain rules and regulations out there? Are you ready to put the grind to create that kind of content, write your own scripts, shoot it that way? Are you ready to learn editing softwares? Are you ready to learn new camera tricks to do that? So these are the questions they need to ask themselves before getting into it.
Influencers are finally getting their due, right? And they will. Today, a B2C brand, a consumer brand, right? You need to reach out to the consumer. And the best way to do is influencers. 50 influencers talking about your brand, right? It will be seen on Instagram. And in Hindi, you call it, right? Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai.
Internet today in 2023 has given us all a level playing field. Munna sitting in Kanpur is as influential as a Vicky Kaushal sitting in Bombay.
Hi everyone, welcome to Cofluence Unplugged, where we go behind the scenes with some of the most influential personalities and brand marketers in the world of content creation. Hi, I'm your host Aritra, and today we have two incredible guests with us. First in the limelight, we have Pratik, who has been dishing out for his love and passion for food and technology for over a decade. He believes one should really portray their life as it is to be successful as an influencer. Currently, he's the manager of content, influencer, and advocacy at Diageo. So you can say he is right at the thick of it. Sharing the limelight with him today, we have Suman. He kickstarted his influencer and blogging journey when Instagram was slowly picking up pace in 2010. He recently clinched the award in the fashion and lifestyle category of Indian Food and Beverages Awards in 2022. He is also steering the ship at the moment as the manager of corporate communications at TVS Motors. Ready to uncover their stories? I know I am really excited. So, without wasting any time, let's get started.
Hi.
So, hi guys, how are you doing today?
All good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you feeling?
No,
Are you
it's
liking the
absolutely
setup?
fantastic. I love the setup and everything. Something that we haven't done in quite a bit. So very excited for this today.
Okay. So, could you guys tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, your background, career-wise, what you have done so far, and probably a little bit about what defines you?
So I started off writing on my blog in 2009, Feb 2009 to be precise. I was encouraged by my older brother to start writing, and since then I started my writing journey, and we were among the first bloggers then in India to write. And in 2011, when Instagram was still new, we started exploring Instagram and started doing things, and then slowly things moved content wise, and then we started becoming Instagrammers, and blogs slowly died out. So that's been our journey. Professionally, I am a PR professional. I currently work with Diageo India. I lead content influencer and advocacy for a portfolio, which is your mass brands. And that's what I do.
So pretty much the same, honestly. But one thing not many people know that, Pratik had already started the whole content creation journey way back, in 2009. And we were classmates in college. We were doing our masters. And then he pulled me in. Why don't you come with me and see how this thing works? I was very hesitant, one of the very introvert guys that you'll ever met, way back. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it, honestly. Just come along, and if you don't like it, don't come. And then I started going along with him. And I got a hang of it, honestly. And that is how it started way back in 2009. And we are right here sitting together still after so many years.
Yeah.
And we have together seen the evolution of the whole content creators. Earlier, we used to call, bloggers because we had legit blogs. We used to attend the events. We had our DSLR cameras, right? We used to go back, transfer all the pictures in the laptops, write our blogs, our 600-word articles, right? Today, the charm has gone, to be honest, right? When we talk about evolution, that is the evolution we're talking about in real sense. Today people are not bloggers, today people are content creators. Right? So that's one of the biggest change that has happened. And apart from that, I'm a communications person too.
Okay, great. I mean, it's I think the evolution has been quite phenomenal, especially so in the last few years. So let's break it down.
Absolutely.
If I have to talk about influencers, I mean, there are so many synonyms. There's influencer, there's content creator. How do you think the entire journey has evolved? How the concept of influencer has evolved from when it started to now where it is?
I'll go first. I think there was never a term as influencer or people who influence, right? There have been people who have always influenced one or the others. There have been celebrities who started it off, and then there were cricketers and everyone, and then you obviously also had journalists, right, who influenced opinions over there by what they wrote. So the term isn't something new, and the work also that people do isn't something new. We as people who started writing on our blogs, we started it off because it was a passion. I love technology, I love food, I love travel, so I started writing about it out of passion, just putting down my experiences. And a lot of times the blogs were also a reflection of what goes on with us, right, internally. And it was a personal space, more like a diary, and that's how we started off blogging. And then it just started resonating with people, and when people start resonating, you slowly start influencing their views and opinions and everything, and that's how our influencing journey became. But today it's more about content creation, less of influencing, right? People today are going out there trying to find new things and create content for their portfolios, and not more about telling people ki, this is what you're supposed to do, that is what you're supposed to do. Today it's more about my game rather than everyone else's game. That's what I think has been.
Just to add, influencer is a very abused term, is what I feel, to be honest, right? As creators, I won't call myself as influencer, right? Probably someone else who thinks I am able to influence someone, right? Probably they calling that, someone is an influencer, Pratik is an influencer, makes sense.
Right.
But I've seen people, using the word influencer on their bio. You can't call yourself an influencer. Let other people call it, because probably they feel you're an influencer, right? Your job title can be a content creator, because that's what you do, right? You don't know whether or not you influence, to be honest. So that's how I feel, right? The job profile, how it has changed, to be honest. And rightly Pratik mentioned, right? Blog, like how we used to blog, it was more of a personal opinion earlier, right? We used to write our personal opinions. Now people, create content for for the gram.
Interestingly, I think if you had to say who was the first influencer, I mean, I'll tell you guys a story. So in the 1800s, the first influencer collaboration, if you may call it, was when Josiah Wedgwood, he was a British potter, he started endorsing his products with the royal family. I mean, the monarchy at that time was the epitome of influence. Right, and that's how it began. And then in the 2000s ushered in, there was the internet, interwebs, all of that. The entire game changed. Now, since the 2020s, we are at a point of time where there is true influencer democratization. What I mean by that is, anybody now who has a camera, who has a little bit of creativity, can create content.
Absolutely.
And they have the potential to reach masses.
Absolutely.
So how do you think the with content democratization, and now so many people taking up becoming content creation in itself, how do you think the shift is going to be moving forward? I mean, is there something new that you see envisioning, anything different coming up?
Honestly, the whole newscape, I'm talking about the traditional media for a moment here, and then I'll go back to the content creation bit, right? Earlier, it was all about the print media that people used to read, right? And then came a wave, the whole, digital wave, right? Everyone started creating content. Now, a news is now not more limited to a reporter. Someone can shoot a mobile if something has happened, an incident has happened. That becomes the first source of information. Someone creating a content and putting it out there, right? That becomes the most authentic source of information, even for the most traditional media, right? So you don't have to wait for the news. I mean, anyone who's not an influencer, that was I was trying to tell you, right? Forget about influencer for a moment, right? Content creator. Anyone can be a content creator today. That has become one of the biggest shifts in the last probably 10 years is what we have seen. What's next? Probably Instagram. I still feel that, it's going to be the biggest thing that will happen because the kind of, things that Instagram is trying, they have been trying over the past few years now. And Instagram, with TikTok no more available in India, I think Instagram is one of the most important platforms. They're going to evolve. They are going to bring in a lot of new elements. And Pratik and I always talk that, podcast is very downplayed in India for some reason. The next big thing after Instagram, the video, I think it's going to be podcast for sure. That is still, I feel, in India, it's at a very nascent stage comparatively other markets that's waiting to blow up. Right? And that's going to happen very soon in the next 5 years. I feel that's the next big thing if if at all I have to point out, podcast is one thing that I'll put my money on.
Talking about democratization of content, there's a very interesting thing that I came across. There's this content creator, I forget his handle. He does covers of a lot of these songs, and his tunes are monotones, right? And he's very famous. He's done, I forget his handle, but he auto tunes it. His voice is very straightforward, but he sings it very nicely, and covers of all international artists, Hindi, everything. And people today, if you have a phone, you can be a content creator. Our DMs, what do we do at night, right? Or when we are free, we just scroll through reels, and whatever we find funny or relatable, we just share it with people. And that itself is one of the biggest example of democratization of content, because anyone and everyone is creating content, be it funny, be it crass, be it troll worthy, or be it whatever it would be. You find an audience for it. Right? And there is no dearth of audience today for any kind of content that you create. And coming back to that example that I was talking about, this guy, his reels would be in everyone's DMs, where people would be, demeaning him, or, trolling him and saying, ye kaise ga raha hai, what is this guy? And his comments would be filled with hate. Cut to 2023, February, a brand gives him a brand deal. He creates a song for them. It goes viral. I mean, his reels were already viral. He gets a brand deal, gets paid hefty. Next thing, in the next 4 months, he has a music video on YouTube that's in collaboration with another artist, right? Today, it takes, almost a jiffy to go viral, get famous, and do things.
Right.
We've seen that with other artists also. I mean, I call them artists and not content creators or influencers. There's Kusha, Dolly, Shibani, all these guys, they started off with making videos, and it just resonated. They are now stars, right? And it's given everyone a platform to come out there and do things. Puneet Superstar, we all know him, came on Big Boss. What did he do? I mean, he just had a phone, he just had camera, he just did some weird antics and got famous. That's truly the democratization of content today. And that's very interesting. And coming back to a podcast, what he was saying, audio as a platform is something that is very, very underplayed. We had a wave slightly in 2021, 2022 with Clubhouse and all these apps that came in, but couldn't really take off because probably the model wasn't right, or people didn't really understand what you could do, because it wasn't a social platform as such where you could go and consume content. India is at a stage where they are consuming a lot of visual content. They are not able to understand how audio content can be consumed. It's like the difference between radios and TV. When radio came in, people were hooked onto it. TV came, took away radio's hype, but there are people who still listen to your radio. There are people who watch TV. It's going to be there. It's going to go a step higher, and can't wait to see what happens.
Right. When you talk about creativity, now even creativity is very easily cultivated, I would say, because there is AI, there is ChatGPT. There are so many resources at your disposal that can help you with creativity and getting new ideas and translating those ideas into execution. So definitely there's a lot of scope for people out there. And would you say that for most content creators, creating content usually starts as a passion? They are passionate about something, they start creating content, no?
A lot of times, yes, out of passion, but today, again, with the whole democratization, people want to be famous.
Right.
It doesn't come out of passion, it's just from the want of being there, viral. Everyone hopes that someday one reel goes viral, I will, become a star on the internet. People will come there, make me famous, I'll get money, and that's what it is. So it's also out of that hunger for being famous that people go on to create content. I mean, why else do you think would people, spray stuff on their face, put cake on their face, or dance stupidly out there? I mean, that's not their passion.
Right.
It's out of the want to be seen out there, and as humans, it's a natural psyche to want attention, and these platforms are just giving us that channel or medium to be famous.
Right. Yeah, I think also with content monetization, I mean, especially that when we talk about nano and micro influencer categories, tier 2, tier 3 cities, there is a lot of content creators out there. I mean, I'll give you guys a stat. So in India currently, in India alone, there are almost 80 million knowledge professionals and content creators out there. However, only 0.2% of these people are actually monetizing their content and services. So why do you think there is such a disparity here in those numbers, especially when we talk about these nano micro influencers, tier 2, 3 cities?
So I'll tell you what, it's been almost 11, 12 years we have been creating content, right? Until COVID, right? That was to 2020, right? I don't think I have done a paid collaboration before that. We have always put in so much of hard work, right? But until that point, as a content creator, I was like, let's stop this. It's not happening out. Like, I have had these thoughts, right? Something happened after COVID. The whole transition of Reels happened after COVID, right? And thankfully it happened. Trust me, I found my, calling kind of a thing from Reels, right? And there are a lot of content creators who let it go, who just could not pace it up with how the sudden transition happened, right? For me, I invested a lot of time. Before sleeping, I used to, be on phone for at least 1.5, 2 hours, learn how people transition to the Reels and everything. I did not take a course or something like that, but self-learning, right? I invested that time. I downloaded a lot of softwares, right, on my phone, apps, editing apps. Like I thought, if that person can do this editing, why can't I? And I used to, replicate that. And that's how I learned, right? And so it's been a tough journey. So till 2020, I've never done a brand collaboration, probably 1 or 2 smaller ones, never a bigger one. But after that, the moment I started putting in that kind of effort, the quality in my Reels, probably brands started noticing, right? And something magical happened, to be honest. And after that, 2020, a lot of brands started approaching for the whole paid collaboration bit. And Touchwood, it's been going really well. Probably if one thing that really determines between brand collaboration, you getting a brand collaboration as a content creator and not getting it, probably is one of the biggest things is quality, right? The quality and definitely the reach then. Because reach, why I'm putting it as a second priority, because I have seen people with lesser reach, but putting in so much of effort and quality, they also get brand collaborations, right? So quality cannot be downplayed. I think that has worked for me really well. And today, I think, fortunately, a lot of brand approaches me for that.
I think absolutely right. COVID changed a lot of things for a lot of brands and everything. People started taking it seriously, and because you were holed up at home, you started realizing it yourself that how long can I sustain with this model of barter?
Yeah.
Right? How long can I go on where brands are sending me stuff and I'm putting it out there? You started realizing that at the end, what you're putting out there is also an ad space, right? Brands are using you to put their messaging out there, their products out there, and there is a price to it. And that's when people started demanding that they be paid for it, even if it was minimal. Macro influencers started charging 1,000 rupees, or micro influencers started charging in the 10,000s and upwards that way. But the whole thing of 0.2% only able to monetize their content is also because a lot of them come into this industry or into the game of content creation thinking that at some point probably we will then start getting paid. Until you are there very new in the whole thing of say a year old or 2 years old, that until you haven't built that base, you may not get paid so much. And so they are happy to go ahead with barters and with products and do all of that. And then probably once you've built a strong audience base is when you start demanding for it. And it, like he said, 2020, even if we say September onwards, it started picking up pace. So it's just been a short period of 3 years. It will take time. It will take time to evolve. We are at a very nascent stage. We've just scratched the surface. We haven't gone deep into it, and which is why this is also the right time to start setting in guidelines, start setting in a governance over here, so that this number increases. Today as influencers, we are on par with celebrities out there.
Right.
And if those guys can be governed, those guys can be pulled up and fined, why can't people like us be pulled up and called out for these things? Because at the end of the day, it's a level playing field. You need to be accountable for what you are putting out there.
So yeah, as you mentioned, it's a competition between reach and your engagement, right?
Absolutely.
Whether do you look at reach and only those numbers and so many million followers, or are you actually looking at authentic engagement, and actually if these influencers, so-called influencers, are yielding real influence on their audience or not?
Correct.
So that is where it comes down to. Also with content creators now, there are so many, as I mentioned, macro, nano influencers who create great content actually. But since they don't have managers to manage them, or they don't have a platform like that platform play, they probably don't even know the avenues they can explore.
Absolutely.
So that also, I think, as an industry overview, if we talk about
100%.
holistically, also that has to develop.
Absolutely. I think it's also the responsibility, if I may use, for influencer agencies to start onboarding these guys. And when they do onboard, there should be what do you call that, introductory course on talking about what are the avenues that they can work on, what is it that they can make money out of, and educating them on these things is important.
Right.
Because it could be someone sitting in a small village in Haryana with a phone and a Jio network, and he's creating great content, but he doesn't really know how much he's worth. Right? They don't know what their reach or engagement is. While Instagram gives you all the insights and all of that, he doesn't really know what it translates to.
Right.
And how much influence he wields.
If we have to go from 0.2% to probably 5% in next 2-3 years, I think agencies like Cofluence will play a big role, to be honest. Right? I think there is that's a bridge between brands and the influencers. Cofluence and other similar agencies, I think you guys will play a massive role to take this 0.2% to 3-4%. I think educating, definitely, as Pratik mentioned, has to happen, and identifying the right influencer, not just celebrities, right? We spoke about engagement rates, right? Finding the right kind of people. I think I know Cofluence and other agencies will play a massive role in getting that done.
I think that shift is happening
Absolutely.
as
It's
well
already
gradually,
started.
because I think now people have started, especially brands have started to notice the influence of nano and micro sectors, and how these niche influencers are actually changing the game. So definitely the shift is changing from celebrity endorsements to influencer endorsements.
Yet, marketing professionals don't really realize that even if you're hiring a content creator, the content that they create needs to be authentic to their style,
right?
And not have your brand guidelines shoving down their throat to say that oh, mera brand ka tagline isme aana chahiye, the product must be here and done. It needs to be authentic. It can't be something that's very plastic. People get called out for it. They need to realize that. And if you are a marketing manager out there trying to push things for your brand through influencers, understand that every content creator has their style of making. Let them free. Let them make it in their own style. Trust me, your brand will get much more eyeballs than you making it an ad out of an influencer content piece.
I mean, the influencers know their audiences way better than any brand would. What resonates with them, what doesn't. So that definitely, I think that synergy has to happen between influencers and brands when they come up with content and campaigning in itself. Definitely a good point there. I think even the most popular influencers that we see right now, I'll give you an example, Bhuvan Bham. The way he started creating content, I mean, that's an amazing example of
He's
how
a Guruji.
as authentic as it gets.
Right? And they are some of the most popular influencers now. They're making the shift to television. And there is also a lot of cross collaboration happening as well, right? Now, celebrities like your Bollywood actors are on social media doing brand campaigns, while influencers are on movie screens. So there is a cross movement happening currently.
One of the biggest shift again will happen on Instagram, and I have noticed that something collaborations, right? You see earlier Instagram allowed only one collaborator, right? Now they have allowed multiple. It's a clear indication what Instagram wants. If you see Instagram keeps trying multiple things, right? collaboration is going to be a big game, and
Yeah.
I think that's something really will kick up, because
Yeah.
the more you collaborate with, and Instagram has this whole algorithm that keeps changing, right? Probably what I see the trend and the kind of changes that Instagram has been making, I think collaborations will play a big role for the next 1 year probably.
Yeah. I think YouTube has to catch up on that.
Late
YouTube's
time.
later in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, YouTube will continue to remain the long format
Long form video, absolutely.
go-to place. Instagram is for snackable content, and
Yeah.
like if you were saying on collaboration, cross collaborations that are happening. Internet today in 2023 has given us all a level playing field.
Yeah.
Munna sitting in Kanpur is as influential as a Vicky Kaushal sitting in Bombay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also I think brands have started to notice it. Brands initially did not consider influencers as a major player, right? However, the game has changed now, wherein influencers are an indispensable tool in their marketing mix overall. So how do you think that change happened, and is influencer marketing a viable way to reach audiences? Where do you see this space
Absolutely.
evolving?
Like, a few weeks back, Pratik and I was having this conversation, honestly, like what you have been asking, right? Influencer marketing has evolved and it will continue to evolve, right? Brands have now started, influencers are finally getting their due,
Right.
right? And they will. Like, I was telling Pratik the other day that, there's so much of clutter in the market, right? There's so much, like 100 of brands coming in together on a platform like Instagram, right? You need to be seen, right? Probably what a traditional media will not give you, 10 influencers talking about you will probably give you that ad space that you're looking at, all right? Today, a B2C brand, a consumer brand, right? You need to reach out to the consumer. And the best way to do is influencers. 50 influencers talking about your brand, right? It will be seen on Instagram. And in Hindi you call it, right, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. I think that is आज भी वो, like, that's very much happening today itself. If you are seen, probably you will be selling it much faster than anyone else. So and I think influencers will play a big role to make that happen.
So I guess during the festive season, we are all aware that there's an influx of influencer marketing and a lot of sponsored and branded content out there. How do you think brands and content creators can rise above this noise and actually create content for the festivities that will relate with their audiences?
So honestly, like me personally, what I'm doing is, like, I'm not even waiting for the brand collaborations to come in, right? Like, I know for a fact that, there is festive season coming in. Like, people will want to see how do they want to dress up, right? How do they want to look, right? So I'm already trying to create a festive content, like, for the men, right? What they can wear, what they can't wear. So I'm already doing that. So as a content creator, I think let's not even wait for the brands to come in, right? You can always reach out to the 5-6 brands talking about what kind of content calendar you have for the next 2-3 months. It's in India, the festive season is very long, right? So if you have a calendar in place, talk to the brands, share what you have in mind. That's what I have been doing. I reach out to a lot of brands myself as well. If I believe that, I have a very strong content calendar, I reach out to the brand, give them a vision that, this is what I'm thinking. Study the brand, right? For example, if you're reaching out to 3 brands and it is in line with, what they are doing in the festive season, what you want to do, reach out to them, talk about how you have been planning the whole festive season for them, right? And I'm sure once you have, like, fine tune between both brands and the influencer, I think you can create wonders. And I'm not even waiting for the brands to come in on board. I'm already starting that. Like, I have things at my home, right? I'm creating a lot of good content already. I have done it in the past. I'm doing it again. So yeah, as a content creator, I think let's not wait for the brands. And at the same time, please start reaching out to the brands, not even wait for them to come in. But when they do, I think study what they are doing and make some wonderful snackable content, because festive season is all about snackable content.
Right.
Partly agree to that, but it's also from a brand point of view, right? Festive season is the season where you really want your brand to be visible everywhere. You have hoardings, sponsorships are taken everywhere. There's World Cup that's going on. There's so many content creators right now that who are very famous that we are speaking with, and their calendar is chock-a-block. So the way you can do it is keep your content calendar planned well in advance. If a brand comes in, try fitting it in over there, retrofit it into what your calendar looks like, and then see. But as for brands, I think we also need to understand that you can't buy out every space that you see,
Yeah.
right? You need to make those choices, and either you have use your own channels to drive festive content out there, or if you don't really have a strong own channel, utilize pick and choose influencers that you really think resonate, and then go ahead again. Over there also, remember that you need to let the creativity of the content creator come up first, and then a brand guideline.
Right.
That is something that's there. In Festival Rush, you really want to push out, right? You have the sale that's going on e-commerce.
Yeah.
Then there's fashion brands want to push things out. There are food brands who want to talk about the sweets and giftings that they want to bring out. So all of these things are there. Try and let it be organic, and that's what I feel, and which is why I agree with him that if you think that as a content creator your content is going to play to the festive audience, reach out to brands, show them what it is, and they'll be happy to bring you in. So it works both way. Either you retrofit a brand, or a brand retrofits an influencer into their content strategy. Otherwise, you have your own channels for as a brand point of view. Use that, drive a lot of content on it, and put it up on your channel rather than an influencer's channel. That and best thing right now as brands to do is do a collab post with an influencer that will anyways drive a lot of eyeballs or audience towards your page and help you increase that following. And that's the goal of every brand today, right? They want to be seen across, and they want to build their audience base. And that happens when you are doing a collaboration with an influencer and you put it up. It's okay. It doesn't have to really go from an influencer handle. It's okay. Put a collab post, get it done, and you're not cluttering his content calendar. You're putting it up according to yours, and that's fine.
Right. Yeah. So I think we'll wrap up this conversation with a quick rapid fire round.
Perfect.
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Absolutely.
We'll have to keep it
I've
rapid.
been waiting for this all my life.
Rapid Rajas here.
Yes. Okay. So my first question to you guys is, what is the one thing you think influencers commit, or what's the biggest pet peeve you have with influencers today?
Like I said, everything's not a hidden gem. It's all been there. You're just discovering it. It's the difference between inventing and discovering.
Yeah.
I think I
about
agree
you?
to that, and also that don't think. I think just create content. Enjoy while you create the content. Right? People have stopped enjoying. Right? Just don't create just for the sake of it. If you don't enjoy, don't do it.
Right. What is that one brand you think is really killing it with influencer marketing at the moment?
I would say Snitch. Okay, that is one very good example who did not start with influencer marketing, right? They build the brand first, and then they have gone for the influencer marketing bit, and they are really killing it with how they have engaged with right set of influencers.
For me, it would be Apple or Boat. Tech brands that are there, and Boat was built on word of mouth, and that happened because someone influenced someone else. So Boat definitely made an India brand, and Apple obviously with every new launch that's there. The day it launches, the next day every celebrity has it. You want to buy it over there.
Right. One fictional character you think would make a good influencer at this time?
Iron Man.
Okay.
Because
Interesting.
he is one of the biggest influencers. He influences the whole set of superheroes.
Right.
And I'm sure if he is a real character, I think he'll influence a hell lot of people.
Yeah.
For me, it would be Gabbar. Yeah, I mean, the fear he puts into people, like, go buy this.
Like you wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah, I
otherwise.
mean, and that character, I mean, it's not something that is there, but Gabbar appeared in Parle G ads.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did it appear? Because he had that power to influence people, and that's what it is. So a villainous character, probably,
Yeah.
A Shakal from can influence.
Sometimes it takes your normal influence, sometimes it takes fear, right? As long as it gets the job
Fear
done.
mongering is the biggest influence on social media today.
Absolutely.
True.
Be it religion, be it anything, I think fear is something that sells like anything, to be honest. And people have been using it. The brands have been using it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we are here in Bangalore, what's your favorite food joint in Bangalore?
For me, it's gonna be Sanchez. I love Mexican.
Okay.
And I think that is one of the best places. Like if I crave for something good, I think that's one place that I always ask people to go and myself go. So
Where is it?
Indranagar.
Yeah.
Indranagar or UB City. Yeah.
UB City, yeah.
Oh, right.
But Indranagar is something I really like going there. But
Okay,
yeah,
noted.
Sanchez is one place I like always like.
Yeah, for me, I think it's Street Stories. I'm a vegetarian and it's a vegetarian place,
Yeah.
but the kind of food that these guys create out, and Chef Tarun Sibal, who's leading it over there, the food is amazing. Anytime you go over there, you can expect something out of the mind, out of the box that blows your mind. Street Stories for me. I mean, I do have a couple of other places, but then if I had to choose,
Yeah.
it has to be Street Stories.
Very artisanal food. What
It's
I would
it's
say.
a veg craft kitchen.
Yes, yes.
And there are certain dishes that you won't even expect it to
Right.
be that.
Experimental, modern.
Uh-huh.
It's that kind of a
Yeah.
cuisine. Yeah.
Okay. What is that one travel destination that influencers have made you want to go travel to? That's really sold it for you.
Not influencers, but again, as I mentioned, like everyone is an influencer, right? Whoever can influence you. I think Kashmir has been one of my, within a childhood kind of, like you see so many Bollywood movies. They always use like Kashmir is like a heaven. I used to think like, ऐसा क्या ही होगा कि heaven, right? But when I went to Kashmir, I think I felt like, okay, you know what? This can be termed as heaven. So something that was one destination that I really wanted to go, and probably looking at so many influencer videos, Bollywood movies, songs and everything else, that was one destination that I did because of, how beautiful it looked. And it turned out to be good.
I think for me, it has to be either Sri Lanka or Bali. The kind of, as much as I talk about authenticity and things there, but at the end of the day, we are humans and you want to aspire to something.
Yeah.
And the kind of views that people really showcase, it may, turn out to be something that's very mediocre, but then it does make you aspire to go there at least once, either Bali or Sri Lanka. The beaches over there, they're pristine blue, wonderful.
Okay.
Vietnam is on my list because only for the food. I'm only going to Vietnam to eat nothing.
Contrary
Yeah.
to that, a lot of people who've gone to Vietnam have told shitty things about food.
Yeah?
Yeah, they didn't
Okay.
like the food.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that influencers they have a banh mi over there and they're like, oh, it's so tasty. Off camera, it's the shittiest food that they've eaten. And
I've always wanted to try pho.
yeah,
I mean, authentic Vietnamese pho. I
Yeah.
don't know how good it would be, but
but a lot of people who went to Vietnam looking at influencers and over there, and they told that the food is the first thing at Vietnam. Do not go expecting great food over there. Even though they have vegan restaurants and everything, carry your own food. And for me as Guju, I'm carrying my theplas there.
But I'm still going. I'm still trying it out firsthand.
right. Okay. If you could swap your Instagram handles for a day, what is that one thing you'd change in each other's profile?
Go first.
I think our profiles are so similar and the kind of things that we do are so similar that even our wives think we are partners. So I think we could change anything because our profiles are so alike.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So I mean, the only thing that I would probably change in his profile is probably put a bit more of travel content, which he hasn't been putting for a long time. Yeah, that's what.
I'll try to make his reels more fashionable. I'm a sucker for
Right.
putting the making the content look very
Aesthetic.
good out there, and he's more the authentic guy.
Yeah.
So I'll try to do that probably.
Yeah, if you see my fashion reels, fashion brands come to me, but then they're like, okay. No, but like I said, I don't want to put out a six-pack out there and say कि yeah, जो हूँ वो हूँ यार. I mean, I'm probably a plus size guy. I will talk about that. I can't fake it out over there. That's something that's just not me.
Right. Great. So I think with that we are at the end of the episode.
Perfect.
Yeah. So it was great having you guys.
Thank you so much. It was
Had a
great to be
lovely
here.
conversation, and I think it was very insightful for our audiences as well. A majority of our audience who listen to this podcast are content creators themselves,
Absolutely.
and they are basically budding, and they want to know more about the art,
Right.
how to evolve in this space. So I think you guys gave some amazing insights
Right.
into that. So thanks a
We're
lot
glad.
for
I
being
mean,
here.
Yeah.
we're happy we didn't bore anyone, and we hope we haven't bored anyone else. So yeah.
I hope even if the audience watching, even if one content creator can aspire and better themselves today, I
Yeah.
think
Our job
probably-
is done.
Yeah,
Right,
our job is
right.
done probably.
And that's a wrap. If you enjoyed today's conversation and want to stay in the loop of upcoming episodes, don't forget to smash that like button, leave your wittiest comments in the comment section, and of course, do not forget to subscribe to Cofluence Unplugged. See you next time. Until then, stay happy, stay kind, and keep Cofluencing. Bye.